Hi, and welcome to my short video describing the development of the website for Abbey Investigations. Abbey Investigations are a firm of private investigators run by Glenn, my next door neighbour. And he has asked me many times to have a look at his website, so I thought this would be a good opportunity to do that for him. He has asked that he would like to have it built in WordPress, and I thought that was perfect for this module. This is what they currently have. It is a website he has built himself in a generic build your own website software. It looks pretty awful, but it does function well. I mean, it does all the things that it needs to do. All the links work. If you don't click on About, it takes you to that page there, and if you click on something like GPS vehicle, that'll take you to the correct page. So that all works. And he has a contact us page, which has a generic contact form type thing. Submit. Right then. So I had all the content I needed. I thought it'd be quite nice just to, while I'm doing this in WordPress, to simplify the styling of it and give it a bit of style as well. I've chosen a film noir theme, harping back to the classic days of Humphrey Bogart and, good black and white detective thrillers. And this is what I came up with. It's fairly black and white. It's got a Venetian blind theme at the top there and a retro 1940s typeface for the logo type, I would say, and I've used a typeface, a typewriter font for the headings of the body, and I've given it a sort of pinboard and notepad theme, as you might associate with private detectives and private investigators of the 1940s. Right, so that's the look of it. Okay. First step for me, after having decided on a design, which I did do quite quickly in Illustrator and Photoshop, was to place all his content from his existing website into WordPress. So if we move over to WordPress, we can have a look at the WordPress dashboard. Here, there's posts and pages. He had about 6-7 pages, so I thought we'd just use them as pages rather than posts. Right, here are all the pages. So there's the About page, Commercial Clients page, a Contact page, as he had previously, and a Home page. So all the pages are there. If we look at Edit Home page, you can see where I've basically just copied and pasted the text, and as I copied and pasted, it's put in the links that he had, which I'll have to relink all those, but for the time being they're there, probably pointing to the wrong pages or different pages, but that was the first thing I had to do, was just copy all the content to all the pages. Click on all pages again, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we have it. So I created all those pages, and then the next thing I did was I created a menu. We go to the menu page, and here you can see the menu structure, theme location, header menu. So this is the menu that was going to be top navigation menu, which is this along here, which you can see sits nicely there. And if we click on the About page, the menu sits along there very nicely. So that's what I created in WordPress with all the appropriate links, and as you can see they're working, and when I hover over they change colour. So there we have that bit, and we can go back. So there we have the menu structure. here there is a submenu for the legal profession. You can see when we click on legal profession, it brings up a secondary menu. Okay, so we can go back from that and click on commercial clients. Here we are. So I've created the menu and placed it in the right place. That's all working very nicely. Okay, the other thing I need to do in WordPress was to create widgets, which I did in the side menu bar. Okay, so there's a side menu, and in that I've created a widget area. There's no description for it, but what I've done is, using what he had on his own existing website, created a title, and then I've given some of the information points that he's had on his and linked it to the private clients page. And I've done that for all the different pages. So it is more like a submenu. So you can see it back over here on the side here. You've got a page title and then a list of the subjects on that page. And then if you click on that, for example, surveillance, it should take you to the surveillance page. Okay. And that's how that works, which is basically just following what he had previously. I'm happy with the way it works. I've got no problems with it. So there we go. That's that. So that was the other thing I had to do, was create this sidebar menu in WordPress. I gave it some styling in the CSS, which I'll show you in a bit, but I created that widget area there for that. At the bottom there, I've used a plugin for the social media, which you can see there's Facebook, LinkedIn and Twitter. With the plugin I've used, you have to show Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and then you have to hide the other ones that are in their menu or whatever, because if you don't click on hide, they show up anyway. So I've had to hide those as well. And you can see back here, there they are at the bottom there, just Twitter, Facebook and LinkedIn. If you click on the Facebook one, it takes you to my Facebook page. I'll have it linked into his Facebook page, but I won't do that at the moment until I've spoken to him further about what he wants and what he doesn't want. Okay, so that's the widgets. If we go back to the WordPress area. Now, the thing about the WordPress concept is it's a CMS, contact management system. So by me creating it in this, the client will be able to add new text areas quite quickly and easily. Or if he wants to add a page, he can quite easily go into pages, all pages, and he can add a new page. Okay, and then he can quite easily go into the menus, and then using this bit here, he can add another menu, another item, another page to the menu, etc., without too much difficulty. Okay, I think that's all on the widgets and the menus. Next, I'm going to talk about the plugins. Right, following on from the widgets and the menu that I've added to the website through WordPress, WordPress is quite well known for its plugins. If we click down on here, installed plugins. I've added plugins for very much behind the scenes functionality to the website. For example, Akismet, it tells you there what it does do, but that is essentially for security of the website. It protects it from spam. So, and I did notice on his previous website he had some, what is it? something where you've got to type in letters as a security to send an email or something like that. I read where Akismet, you can do away with that. It protects your website from unintended spam. Another thing I've added is Google Analytics. I've not done anything with this yet, it's just there, but I will need to sit down with my client and talk through which bits and pieces that he'd like to have analysed by Google Analytics, really. So, but you know, it's there, it's up on the website. We just need to go down and add some settings to it, which I will do once this is all handed in. I've put Jetpack. That's allowed me to add a contact form, again tying back to the Akismet. It's sort of a contact email form, to put it more simply, where the user can just put in their contact details and send off an email without actually using their email account. Actually, I'll just quickly show you that. We go back to here, contact page, scroll down the contact page. That's the contact form that the plugin provides me with. I modified the plugin to say send instead of submit down there. That's another issue which I could spend hours talking about, which I'll just skip over, but I prefer the word send than submit for many reasons. Okay, back to this, and also, as mentioned beforehand, the social media plugin as well is there. So I've put in, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4 plugins. Hello Dolly is one that's already part of WordPress. I might delete that, but I'll leave it for now. And again, it was something I'll leave up to the client to decide whether he wants to keep or not. Okay, so that's plugins dealt with. Okay. That's the WordPress dashboard that I've dealt with. Just to show you a little bit of what I've done in the code as well. On the style, CSS, you can see here where I've added the fonts for the website. Dancehall's the 1940s Art Deco web font, and this one down here, Special Elite Regular, is the quite nice typewriter font. Okay, the rest of the CSS is quite straightforward. There's nothing particularly interesting there to point out. On the header, PHP, you can see here is where I've added the banner, which is the Venetian blind looking image, and also the site title, which I brought in using some PHP code which I found on the WordPress site to put in. That brings in the site title and displays it at in the head, or header I should say. And also on the home page, this bit at the top here is for the feature image. This bit of code I've put in, it's not in the blank theme that I downloaded. It displays the images at the top of each page and makes it quite easy for a client to put their own images in. And I also created a template page for the home page, and I had to put a line of PHP at the top there which states template name and the name of the template, which is home page in this instance, because the home page has a bigger banner image at the top of the page, so I created a separate one compared to the rest of the pages. I can show you that on here, where we're going to go to home page. That's the bigger image, and where I pulled the code in. Right, that's that. Okay, another feature that I've added to this website is I've given my client two options on the theme. So if we go into Appearance and click on Themes, here you can see the various different themes that are available for him to choose from. 2012, 2013 and 2014 are bog standard WordPress themes which come with any WordPress download. I've created him a theme called Private Eye. As you can see, it reflects his home page. I've also done Private Eye Light because when I was working on the design of the website, I realized I quite liked it without any images. I felt it's really quite contrived, the images he has for his website, because there aren't really any images that he can really, I mean, like a lot like lawyers as well, because they just like to have images of Newcastle and things like that. So I thought it worked quite well. So there's the two themes you can choose from. And yes, there we go, that's that. Another important step of the building of this website in WordPress was when originally downloading WordPress, we had to create a database using PHP MyAdmin, which we hosted locally and used MAMP as a server so we could run the PHP. But to upload that to a remote host, we had to save the database onto the desktop and then had to import it to the PHP MyAdmin on the remote server. Once that was done, we had to change these bits here, which are the addresses. Previously it said localhost, and now it has the web address of where we want to go, and that was in the databases name, options, and browse. So we had to do that. So that's that job done as well. So now the website is live and working well. And finally, once the website has been loaded and is live, as you can see here, it doesn't have localhost at the top there, using a subdomain of my own website. I did some testing on it. First of all, I tested it for the code, which I used the W3C validation service. I got 15 errors and 4 warnings. Thankfully, none of it is to do with me. Of the 15 errors, about 13 of those are to do with links that my client put in himself on his self-build website. So once I fix all these links and things like that, they will all be corrected. And I think the other warnings and errors are just to do with empty tags and empty classes, which were in the blank HTML theme. So again, nothing that I put in myself has shown up any errors or warnings. So I'm happy about that. And by the time I get with my client and tidy up all the loose ends, then we shouldn't have any errors or warnings. I also did some screenshots using Browser Stack, as you can see here. And again, it seems to be working fine in all browsers and operating systems. So for example, going back as far back as Windows 7 using Internet Explorer 9, it appears to have come out just as it should. And again, Windows 7 and using Chrome browser, again, it's come out as it should, which is all great news because that's a fairly old Windows operating system. The latest Mac, Yosemite in Safari, again, it looks fine, working well. And again, going back a bit, using Mac Mountain Lion, which is quite a few years old now, and using Chrome, again, it seems to be working fine. So I'm happy that it works in various different browsers on different operating systems. Finally, I did an accessibility checker. One known problem, they didn't like me sticking a higher level header under another header. So I think I've done an H2 under an H3. They seem unhappy with that. I did that for styling. Maybe that's to do with yes, I think that's on the contact. Well, no, it's on the vehicle tracking page, but that's more a style issue rather than any serious problem. There are 143 potential problems, but there are lots of silly little things like alternative images on the Facebook buttons and the Twitter buttons, etc., which, 3 on every page, and that gets repeated X amount of times, so that's 3 times 10, that's sort of 30 issues already that they've mentioned because it gets mentioned every time. But I'm happy with those potential problems because they're not very serious ones at all. And will get ironed out later. Okay, so I'm happy that the website's tested okay, and it's all up and running and working as it should. And I look forward to getting together with my neighbour and client and tidying up all the loose ends. But for this module, I've ticked all the boxes, I think. Good.